Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an episode of the Mizuho Week Ahead. I'm Boon Heng, market economist at Mizuho Bank. This week's theme is reassessment or status quo. Last week appeared to be ending on an optimistic note with Trump saying that we will make a deal on, I think, everything. To be sure, everything is on the table, but the easiest deal to make is to extend the status quo on perhaps everything with regards to the US-China deal. Over the weekend, there was a large of deals made at the ongoing ASEAN summit, with the US signing new frameworks with Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. Even as these countries saw their relative tariff rate being maintained, despite giving in on a whole host of import restrictions, ranging from eliminating tariff barriers on US goods to relaxing meat import requirements, the trade-related benefit may stem from the potential for zero tariffs on some goods listed within an annex. As such, the devil is in the details. Notably, following the US-Australia agreement on critical minerals last week, it is perhaps not too surprising that Trump has inked more agreements with ASEAN partners, Malaysia and Thailand, to strengthen their rare earth supplies and potential pipeline production and refining capacity. A Trump-Xi meeting on the 30th of October in Korea will also be the most closely watched event this week, and a mere confirmation of the meeting has buoyed risk sentiments last week. Over the weekend, Besson has said that China is likely to buy substantial amounts of US soybeans, and he believes that all the details are ironed out, and it will be for the two leaders to conclude the transaction on Thursday. While soybean purchase is a sign of progress in terms of Taiwan relations, relenting on soybeans, which China may need for animal feed, is a rather easy concession to make. Nonetheless, with Trump's sudden cancellation of all trade talks with Canada last week, it is a reminder that progress can be subject to sudden about turns. That said, given that the displeasure from Trump on Canada was about an anti-tariff advertisement funded by Canada, a resumption of talks may not be too tough. Even before these geopolitical meetings, the long-awaited CPI last Friday came in weaker than expected, with month-on-month increases for headline and core coming in at 0.3% and 0.2% respectively. This print is unlikely to reveal the widely expected risk management cut by the FOMC this week, as second-tier indicators ranging from ADP employment to ISM services, as well as state-level jobless claims, point to weak economic soft spots. Across the Atlantic, the ECB though this week will be holding on to the status quo, keeping rates unchanged as inflation remains well contained and growth fears from the impact of tariffs have not materialized. Similarly, we expect the BoJ to do no harm by standing pat, even though we acknowledge that the BoJ is edging towards its next height. As, at this juncture, hiking in rates in the midst of prevailing political and wider economic policy uncertainty may ultimately prove counterproductive. In Asia, the Bank of Korea kept rates unchanged last week in a widely expected decision as housing prices and Korean won stability took precedence. Further cuts will rely on their assessment of the housing market. For this week, Korea's upcoming Q3 GDP release is also likely to display resilience as the semiconductor upcycle continue to cover up various soft spots in the economy. We expect Q3 growth to come in at 1% year-on-year with upside bias. The semiconductor lift is even more evident in Taiwan, as we expect Taiwan Q3 GDP to remain very buoyant at 7% year-on-year. Domestic consumption, though, remains cautious, and subdued inflation means that there is scope for the Taiwan Central Bank to ease in 2026 should growth buckle. In Indonesia, their rate hold last week was a dovish one to lean against rupiah pressures or the attempt to repair impact transmission channels as lending rates have not fallen in tandem with policy rates. All in, while status quo bias for markets remains the base case for most, one should reassess the actual state of progress even as you watch for the tail risks of potential upheavals. For more information, please refer to our week ahead publication or contact your respective sales desk and RMs. And for regular notification on our market views, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button. Thank you.